grade 10 students, and for today's video, tutulungan ko kayo kung paano magsagot sa arts, okay? Grade 10 Arts, Quarter 1, Module 1, okay? I-discuss ko rin sa inyo at para at least maintindihan nyo kung ano ang topic ninyo sa arts ngayong first quarter. Okay? So, ngayon, it's all about arts, Quarter 1, Module 1, Principles of Design and Elements of Arts. Okay? Ready na ba kayo? Okay, let's go. Now, make sure grade 10 students na binabasa nyo yung mga introduction like this. Okay? What I need to know, what I know, what's in, what's new, what is it, and what's more. We do have what I have learned and what I can do. Okay? So, babasahin nyo yan at intindihin. Okay? We do have assessment, additional activities, and answer key. Pero, ayaw kong sabihin sa inyo agad-agad yung answer key. Gusto ko kasing i-discuss pa rin sa inyo yung inyong topic or yung inyong nilalaman para at least may natutunan talaga kayo. Okay? Basahin natin to. What I need to know. Ano ba ang dapat nyong malaman? Okay. Do you know that there were several areas in which Impressionist artists moved away from the established practices of art at that time? This involved their use of color, choice of subject matter and setting, the technique for capturing light and conveying movement. Okay, during the 20th century kasi, diyan na nag-alsa ang mga painters o yung mga artists. Bago sila kung paano magpinta. Okay? Hindi na sila indoor, lumalabas na sila. They start drawing or painting outdoors. Okay? Impressionist artists moved away from the established practices of art that time. Kumbaga nabago yung the way sila magpinta. Okay? Nag-break away sila dun sa traditional way of painting. Okay? So, dito sa lesson na ito, matututo kayo kung paano kayo mag-assess. Ano ba yung dapat nyong tingnan o hanapin sa isang pinta o sa isang painting. Okay? So, after going through this module, you are expected to: Number 1, analyze art elements and principles in the production of work following a specific art style from the previous art movements. Now, we do have specific objectives. At the end of the module, you should be able to: Number 1, identify the different principles of design and the elements of arts present in the various art movements. Okay? Ma'am, ano yung art movements bago tayo lumayo? Art movements ay yung iba't ibang way kung paano magpinta ang isang pintor o iba't ibang, kung sa musika, meron tayong genre, 'di ba? Sa pagpipinta, art movements ang tawag doon. We have Impressionism, we have Expressionism, which is pag-aaralan natin in the latter part. Okay? Now, Number 2, appreciate the different principles of design and the elements of arts. And Number 3, create your own artwork by applying the principles of design and the elements of arts based on the examples or example of arts. What I know. Okay. You begin with the module proper. Take this test to find out how much you already know about our topic. So, use the pictures below to check how much you know about this topic. Clarify them according to what principle of design they belong. Write your answers in your test notebook. Choose your answer from the following. Now, you may ask your teacher kung sa notebook nyo siya gagawin or gagawin ni teacher mo na isulat sa papel. Don't forget to ask your teacher. Okay? Now, ano-ano ba yung mga principles of design? Meron tayong 6. We have unity and variety, contrast, emphasis and subordination, repetition and rhythm, balance, and scale and proportion. 6 yan. They are the principles of design. Na ngayon, subukan natin kung may alam ka na ba dun sa mga principles na yun. Okay. So, ang gagawin natin, mamimili tayo dito sa 6 na ito at ilalagay mo dito sa ilalim nitong mga pictures kung ano ang meron sa kanila. Okay nga, subukan nyo. Okay, get your module or dun sa mga ODL dyan, just try to get notebook or pad paper, then try to answer this. Okay? Tingnan natin mamaya pagkatapos nito, check natin kung may tinamaan agad kayo. Okay? So, we have 1 and 2. By the way, guys, this is number 1. Okay? That's typo error. Okay? This is number 1 and this is number 2. Okay? And let's go here. We have 3 and 4. Tingnan nyo maigi. Ano kayang meron? Okay, look at your modules. Now we have 5 and 6. Sculpture itong isa. Number 5. Now, drawing itong number 6. Number 7. And number 8. Number 9 and number 10. Okay? So, yan. Okay, tapos na kayo? Let's move on to the next one. Now, letter B. Okay? Find and circle all the elements of arts that are hidden in the grid. The words may be hidden in any direction. Write your answers in your test notebook. Again, ask your teacher kung sa test notebook ba or sa papel at kailangan nyo siyang ipasa. Okay? At itanong nyo din kung pwede ba kayo magsagot directly dun sa module nyo. Okay? So, subukan natin itong sagutan. We have, tada! Shape. There. Okay. Ano pa nakikita niya? Another word, space. Okay. Next one is color. I have here color. Okay, ano pa? Value. May nakita kayong value? Ito. 1, 2, 3. Ayan. Hindi ko siya pwedeng diretsong highlight. Oops, mali. Hindi yan. Value. Okay. Next is perspective. Ayan. Meron dito texture. Ayan. Oops, letter T. Ano pa? Line. We do have line. Okay. There. Meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 words. Okay? Now, meron tayong shape, space, color, texture, perspective, line, and value. Well, how was it? Do you think you did well? Compare your answers with those in the answer key on page 20 to find out. But wait, mamaya, gusto ko munang i-discuss lahat sa inyo. Huwag nyo agad tingnan yung answer key. Intindihin nyo muna to lahat. Para magets nyo and mapag-aralan natin mabuti. If all of your answers are correct, very good. This shows that you already know much about the topics in this module. You may still study the module to review what you already know. Who knows, you might learn a few more new things as well. If you get a low score, don't feel bad. This means that this module is for you. It will help you understand some important concepts that you can apply in your daily life. If you study this module carefully, you will learn the answers to all the items in the test and a lot more. Are you ready, grade 10? You may go now to the next page to begin lesson 1. Okay, let's go. Now, lesson 1, it's all about principles of design. So, what's in? Art can be seen in all aspects of life. It is everywhere. It can be seen in our surroundings. The popular feeling about art is that it exists only in concert halls, museums, and art galleries in a world by itself, which are accessible only to those who can afford to pay for its enjoyment, or to the critics and scholars who take time to study the art and objects of the art. Okay. Pero, napakaswerte natin dahil kasama sa curriculum nyo ang art. Diba? And napaka-importante ng art sa buhay natin. Tandaan niyo yan. Kasi sa mundo ng art, you can be whatever you want to be. You can express yourself. And in my opinion, art can teach you how to be human. Okay? So that's it. Now, let's go on. Now, what's new? Anong bago? Now, activity number 1. Analyze the image at the center. Then answer the questions provided in each quadrant. Write your answer in your test notebook or answer sheet or module. Ask your teacher. Okay. Now look at the painting here, guys. It is a painting of Vincent van Gogh and the title is Starry Night. It is painted in 1889 and it is an oil paint. Okay, so tingnan nyo. So let's start with description. Ano yung masasabi nyo dun sa painting na ito? Okay? Analysis, interpretation, and judgment. Ito yung question under description. So, what are the things do you see in the artwork? What are the things do you see? Anong meron? May bundok, may ulap, you have stars, the sky, and the houses, a village, right? And describe each of the things seen in the artwork. Kumusta yung langit? Ito ba ay clear blue sky? Or meron siyang mga swirls, right? It depicts what? Anong tingin niyo? Okay, so how about analysis? What elements of arts were used by the artist? What elements of arts? Tandaan niyo pa ba ang elements of arts? If I'm not mistaken, na-discuss din siya sa inyong grade 9, 8, or 7, right? Now, anong mga elements like line, color, kumusta naman? Okay, siya ba ay gumamit ng straight line, curve line? Ano masabi nyo? Now, which among the principles of design were used by the artist? Did he use unity and variety, repetition and rhythm, balance, contrast, scale and proportion, or emphasis and subordination? Okay, now let's have interpretation. Now, for interpretation, what do you think does Vincent van Gogh wants to imply in his artwork? Ano yung gusto niyang sabihin? Ano yung gusto niyang ipahiwati dun sa kanyang painting na Starry Night? Sa tingin niyo, guys. Ayan. Ano yung naramdaman niyo nung nakita niyo siya? Nung nakita niyo yung painting? And is the title Starry Night appropriate to the image? Tamang-tama ba? Sakto ba? Bagay ba yung title na Starry Night dun sa painting? Ano sa tingin niyo? Okay, now for the judgment, we have in this piece of artwork, is this piece of artwork worthy of appreciation? Why and why not? I mean, kailangan ba siyang i-hype o worth ba yung, kasi sikat yan, okay? Is it worth it? Karapat-dapat ba siyang sumikat? Okay, and I think some of you ay alam na itong painting na ito. Ay imagine 1889, hanggang ngayon kilala siya, 2021 na. Diba? Worth it ba? Okay, and how is Vincent van Gogh as an artist? At kilala nyo ba si Vincent van Gogh? Kumusta siya as an artist? Okay? Now, kumusta siya? Kumusta yung atake niya dito? yung the way niya pininta. Kung kayo ba ay magiging painter, gagayahin nyo ba the way siya mag-paint? O halimbawa, kayo, kumbaga gustong maging painter, gagayahin nyo ba yung painting na to? Uulitin nyo ba siya? Iidoluhin nyo ba si Vincent van Gogh? Ano ang inyong answer? Let's go to the next one. Now that you are done, you may proceed to learn more. Are you ready? Go ahead, read and understand to learn more, okay? Enjoy. Now let's go. What is it? The word design indicates both the process of organizing visual elements and the product of that process. It is a result of our basic need for meaningful order. Some designs are so well integrated that they have qualities beyond a mere sum of their parts. Such are said to be beautiful, interesting, absorbing, surprising. Art and beauty can be expressed in many ways. In natural beauty of huge old trees, or in the created beauty of a painting of those trees, like in the work of Van Gogh, which is this one. Okay, look at the picture. And the title is Large Plain Trees. Okay? Now, depicted in his works are the principles of design that made his work beautiful, fascinating, and expressive. There are 6 principles of design. We have, number 1, unity and variety. Okay. Balance, emphasis and subordination, contrast, repetition and rhythm, and scale and proportion. Ilan yon? 6. Now, let's read the information provided below, then do the activities and assessments prepared for you to do. Okay, now let's have unity and variety. Number 1 principle. Okay. So, ano ba ang unity and variety? Now, unity refers to the appearance or condition of oneness of an artwork. Pagkakaisa o pagiging isa, okay, ng isang artwork. All the elements such as line, color, texture, and others belong together that result in having one coherent and harmonious whole. Okay? Now, pag pinagsama mo daw, kahit maraming elements of art like line, color, texture, and others, pag pinagsama mo, magre-result siya sa iisang harmonious na painting. Hindi siya magulo pa rin tingnan kahit ang dami ng elements of art na isinama mo dun sa isang painting. Maayos pa rin siyang tingnan. Now, tingnan natin itong sample na ito. Going Home by Jacob Lawrence. Tingnan nyo yung picture. Okay. Some of the modules, probably ito'y black and white or grayscale. Kaya, sabi ko, gagawa ako ng videos para at least matulungan ko naman somehow yung mga nasa modular distance learning na modality para may makita silang actual color nung mga paintings na nasa module ninyo. Okay. Now, Going Home by Jacob Lawrence. Kita ninyo na we have lines. Kita nyo may mga vertical lines made by this chair. Kita nyo? Ayan. Meron din tayong horizontal line. Yung cabin ng train, di ba? Now, kita nyo na marami siyang kinamit. Color, what you call this? Lines. And yet, hindi siya masama o magulong tingnan. Organized pa rin. Okay, it made sense na, okay, ito ay parang nasa loob ng train. Some of them ito ay nakahiga na sa aisle, center aisle. Iba ay nakaupo. Isa ay naglalagay ng gamit sa taas ng cabinet, or ano ba tawag doon? Okay? So, another example is this one. We have the Immigration series by Jacob Lawrence. Pareho. Isang artist ang pinag-uusapan natin. Kita nyo, ang daming color na ginamit. Pero, consistent siya saan? Though siya ay gumamit ng maraming color, hindi pa, alam nyo yun, walang nagiging dominant and walang nag-i-stand out. Pantay-pantay yung what? Halaga o value ng bawat color. Kaya, unity pa rin. Diba? Kahit ang daming kulay na naandyan, hindi pa rin siya magulo. Walang nag-i-stand out. Kasi pag may nag-stand out dyan, di wala ng unity. O halimbawa, may nag-separate or may napahiwalay, may naging dominant na area ng painting na doon ka lagi mapapatingin. Wala na. Hindi na siya unity and variety. Okay? So, yan. Tingnan yung maigi. Pantay o equivalent lahat yung value. We have orange, yellow, dark tones. And yan, meron din siyang lines. Kita nyo to? Ayan. We have lines, vertical and horizontal. Dark colors and light colors. Ang daming elements, more than one ang ginamit niya, pero nakabuo siya ng isang matino o maganda o harmonious painting. Okay? So that's it. The visual themes were established with the use of lines, shapes, and colors. The many figures and the objects in the complex composition of Lawrence formed a unified design through the artist's skillful use of abstraction, theme, and variation. Okay. Hindi naman siya gumamit ng isang kulay lang, di ba? Marami. Variation. Maraming kulay pa rin na ginamit. Pero harmonious pa rin tingnan. Okay. Now, let's go to the next one. We have balance. Okay. Oopsie. We have balance. Okay. Now, balance is the condition in which acting influences are held in check by opposing forces, or what is in the left side should appear on the right side also in order to achieve equilibrium. Kung halimbawa, gagawa ka ng isang sculpture or magpipinta ka, kung ano yung meron sa kaliwa, kung ano yung inilagay mo sa kaliwa, meron din dapat sa kanan. Para siya ay balance. Okay? Hindi maaaring, dito lang ako sa area ng canvas magpipinta. Tapos dito wala na. Hindi, balance yun. Okay? Mag-sculpture. Ako, gagawa ko ng chair na statue, figure. Statue. Gagawa ko ng chair. For example, sculpture ng isang figure ng isang chair. Gawa ako dito sa side na to ng paa. Isa, walang paa. Hindi pwede. Dapat balance. Kung anong meron sa kaliwa, meron din sa kanan. Okay. Now, meron tayong dalawang tinutukoy o meron tayong dalawang klase ng balance. We have symmetrical balance and asymmetrical balance. So, ano ba yung mga yon? The near or exact matching of left and right sides of three-dimensional form or two-dimensional composition is called symmetrical balance. Yung sinasabi ko kanina na meron sa kanan at meron sa kaliwa na pantay, mapapainting man to, which is 2D or two-dimension, kasi nasa flat surface, or sculpture man to. Kung anong meron sa kanan, meron din dapat sa kaliwa. And that is considered as three-dimensional. Okay? Ang isang sculpture. Symmetrical balance ang tawag doon. Okay? Now, ma'am, ano yung asymmetrical balance? Ang asymmetrical balance ay two sides which are not the same in value. Paano not the same in value? For example, tingnan natin itong sculpture na ito na Chariot by Alberto Giacometti. Okay. Meron siyang wheels. Both left and right ay meron. Okay? Pantay. Balanse. Balance. That is example of symmetrical balance. Parehong-pareho. Merong nag-e-exist sa kaliwa, meron sa kanan. Now, itong The Evening Glow of the Ando by Suzuki Haranobu, ito ay example ng asymmetrical balance. Ma'am, paano asymmetrical? Kita nyo yung dalawang babae, di ba? Pareho rin silang meron sa kaliwa at sa kanan, pero yung isa nakaupo, yung isa nakatayo. In short, yung isa elongated, yung isa shortened. Tapos pareho lang silang nakatungo. Balanse pa rin, di ba? May pagka-similarity pa rin. Meron sa kanan, meron sa kaliwa, pero may pagkakaiba. Gets nyo? Okay. So, asymmetrical balance can be seen on the wheels of the chariot by Giacometti's bronze, where the slim figure that serves as a vertical attached on an elevation. Yan yun. Okay? Ito yun. Now, on the other hand, Haranobu's figures on the wood block print asymmetrical balance was achieved with one figure sitting the others. On the other hand, Haranobu's figures on a wood block print asymmetrical balance was achieved, okay, with one figure sitting and the other is standing. Kita nyo, balanse pa rin. Meron sa kanan at kaliwa. Pero, yung isa ay sitting, yung isa ay standing. Shortened yung isa, elongated yung isa. Okay? And both heads of the figure bends to the center. Balanse pa rin siya. Okay? Ito sa chariot, ano yung nasa gitna? Yung taong elongated. Ito yung kay Suzuki Haranobu, yung head ng dalawang babae ay patungo pa rin sa center. Okay. So that is symmetrical balance and asymmetrical balance. Okay. So, indeed, the magic of art is fascinating. Diba? Do you want to learn more? Let's go on. Okay. Now, let's have the third principle of design. Emphasis and subordination. To draw our attention to an area or areas, the artist uses emphasis. To create emphasis, position, contrast, color intensity, and size can be all used. Okay, ulit ko. To create emphasis, position, contrast, color intensity, ayan. Position, contrast, color intensity, and size can all be used. Tandaan nyo yan. Position, contrast, color intensity, and size. Neutral areas of lesser interest o ito yung area na ayaw mong bigyan ng emphasis are created by artists through what we call subordination to keep us from being distracted from the areas of emphasis. Okay, now look at the picture. Okay. So, yan. That is Yacht Approaching the Coast. Okay, by Joseph Mallard William Turner. Okay, so kita nyo anak, kita nyo grade 10 students na anong ginamit na color dun sa emphasis. Di ba parang yung emphasis niya na ando sa center, itong lighter color na ito. Ito yung emphasis niya di ba? Ginamit niyang color. Lighter, right? And in comparison with the subordination, dito sa areang to, darker. Okay, papasok dyan yung color intensity. The size, bigger siya. Tama ba? Bigger siya. Okay, the position, of course, medyo center para dun agad ang tingin mo. And yung mga subordination, hindi panabi. Okay, so that's how you have emphasis and subordination. We have emphasis and subordination. Okay? Now, let's have contrast. This is the fourth principles of design. Contrast. Okay. Now, what is contrast? The juxtaposition of strongly dissimilar elements is called contrast. Okay? Now, dark set against light. Okay? Large against small. Bright colors against dull are examples of contrast. Kumbaga, magkabaligtad. Dark, light. Large, small. Bright, dull. Okay? Now, Visual experience becomes monotonous without contrast. Okay? In short, visual experience, pag isa lang siyang kulay o isang shape, di ba boring? Monotonous. Kaya contrast ang magbibigay ng buhay sa inyong artwork. Okay? Contrast can be seen also in the thick and thin, kapal at nipis, ng areas of a single brush stroke. Okay? Now, as you can see here, we have luster painted bowl Spain. Okay. Now, this is a tin glazed earthenware painted in cobalt blue and luster. Tingnan nyo, paano yung stroke ng brushes? We have thick brush strokes, thin brush strokes. We have darker shade of blue, lighter shade of blue. Okay? We have darker area dun sa plate or dun sa bowl na yan. Meron din tayong lighter area. Okay? We have large images or large characters, and we have small characters too. And that is an example of contrast. Okay? Now let's go to the 5th principles of design, and that is repetition and rhythm. Okay, now the repetition of visual elements gives a composition of unity, continuity, flow, and emphasis. Again, we have unity, continuity, flow, and emphasis. That is under repetition and rhythm. Now, rhythm in the visual art is created through the regular recurrence of elements with related variations. Diba sa sayaw o sa music may rhythm tayo? Okay? Pag ilagay mo siya sa art, makikita mo, maliit, biglang lalaki, maliit, lalaki ulit, maliit. That is an example of rhythm. Mababasa mo siya. Okay? So, this is an example of repetition and rhythm. The maesta or maesta of Duccio. Now, as you can see, dun sa painting na iyan, makikita nyo na repetition, na ulit yung mga image or character. Okay? Pero may pattern. At doon papasok yung rhythm. From maliit, tapos biglang may lalaki, tapos liliit uli. Malaki, liliit uli. And we do have emphasis. Diba? Sabi dito, meron tayong emphasis. Nasaan yung emphasis? Nasa center. And paano nyo nalaman emphasis? Nasa center siya. Plus, malaki and mas brighter ang kanyang color. And naggamit siya ng border here na red o yan. Now, unity. Paano masabing unity? Pagkakaisa. Okay? The color. Ulit lang. They are the same halos. Continuity. Dire-diretso o yung painting. From square, going smaller and smaller. Okay? Yung flow. Oh, basa nyo. Kapaliit yung square nga and yung flow ng mga characters. So, kita nyo? Never naman siyang nabago. Pare-pareho lang. Okay? That is under repetition and rhythm. Okay? Now, let's have the last. Scale and proportion. Now, ano ang meron sa scale and proportion? Scale is the relation of one thing to another. It is one of the first decisions. Kauna-unahang decision mo as an artist, kung ikaw ay isang artist. Okay? First decisions an artist makes when planning a work of art. Ito yung kailangan mong unang desisyonan pag magpipinta ka. Gaano ba kalaki ang ipipinta ko? For example, magpipaint ka ng isang character, anime, si Naruto, for example. Ipipinta mo siya sa isang canvas. Gaano kalaki si Naruto? Maliit lang ba siya? Then the rest ay background na? Or siya ang main? Nasa gitna siya and kasya lang yung image niya dun sa buong canvas. O kung gusto mo pang lagyan ng ibang character. Gaano kalaki? Okay? So, yun yung kauna-una mong de-decide, diba, as an artist. So, proportion is the size relationship of parts to a whole. And makita nyo yan dito sa Zapatistas by Jose Clemente Orozco. Kita nyo, napagkasya niya lahat. Ilang tao yan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 na tao. Plus, may kabayo. Feeling ko 3 kabayo yan. 3 yung 4 na kabayo nakasakay. Imagine na pagsama niya lahat yun sa isang canvas. See? So, dun papasok ang scale and proportion. Halimbawa, magdodrawing ka o magpe-painting, ang laki-laki, hindi mo pala kasya. Hindi makikita lalo yung ganda ng painting mo. Diba? Dapat ibabagay mo rin yung ipipinta mo sa laki ng canvas mo o sa laki ng materials na gagamitin. Okay? So, yan. Let's have a recap kung ano-ano nga ba ang principles of design. Meron tayong 6. And the first one is unity and variety. Second, balance. Third is emphasis and subordination. Fourth is contrast. Fifth is repetition and rhythm. And the last one is scale and proportion. Okay? Now, great job! Now you have learned the different principles of design. Let's check how far you have done with it. Do the activities and assessments that are prepared for you to work on. Let's get it on. Okay, now for your activity number 1 here, you need to prepare the following materials. We have Oslo paper, crayons, acrylic paint or any paint available, color pastel, and watercolor. Now, for your procedure, look around and observe the people around you. Your friends, your family, and your neighbor or the nature. Tingin kayo sa paligid. Yung nanay nyo, tatay nyo, kapatid nyo, yung kwarto nyo, yung, of course, bawal pa kayo lumabas. Baka some of you ay quarantine pa din. Yung kusina nyo, yung banyo yun, yung sala ninyo, yung neighbor ninyo, pagtanaw nyo sa bintana. O yung inyong scenery dyan, sa labas ng inyong pinto ng inyong bintana. Tingnan nyo. Obserbahan nyo. Now, this time, describe them through a drawing or painting applying the principles of design based on what you see in their faces or actions as they exercise the freedom of expression in their daily lives. Now, ngayon, ipinta nyo sila. O ipinta mo yung nakita nyong ibon o scenery dyan sa inyo. Setting dyan sa inyo. Gamit yung iba't ibang principles of design. Yung 6 na diniscuss natin kanina. Pinag-aralan natin kanina. Okay? Now, do this in an Oslo paper. You may use crayons, color pastel, watercolor, acrylic paint, or any available resources that you have. Okay? Kahit ano, color pastel, Crayola, watercolor, or acrylic paint kung meron kayo. Okay, so for your assessment number 1, create something beautiful and useful artwork to make your life more meaningful by applying the different principles of design that you have learned in relation to the talent that God has given you. Write your reflection on a sheet of paper. Okay, dito sa assessment number 1 na ito, create something beautiful and useful artwork. Pwedeng mapa-drawing, pwedeng craft. Okay? For example, mahilig kayo sa DIY. Gawa kayo na lalagyan ng pencil. Gawa kayo ng notebook, design ng notebook. Okay? Yung mga DIY or dancing or singing. Now, i-apply niyo yung different, the 6 principles of design. We have, what you call this, unity and variety, rhythm and repetition. Pwede yung makita sa sayaw. Pwede yung makita sa singing, sa music. Pwede rin yung makita sa craft. Halimbawa, designan nyo itong bottle. Or designan nyo yung inyong mirror. Pintahan nyo kaya. Or lagyan nyo ng beads. Okay? Makikita dapat doon yung 6 na principles of design. Okay? Now, kailangan nyo maglagay o magsulat ng reflection sa isang sheet of paper. Okay?